What the world? Oh, man!
SHW. This is our wrestling.
Unbelievable.
You think you could walk all over me, but I don't see that happening. We're warriors.
We told you anybody could show up here tonight. This crowd is going ballistic. Using that dog collar now, just choking Huckabee and Ashton Starr, your new #1 contender. The Lynch Mob are your first ever SHW Tag Team Champions. You're kidding me. Logan Creed is in the action building. Unbelievable. I can't believe what we saw here tonight, folks. I mean, this is insane.
And now, the voices of Southern Honor Wrestling, Brandon Benefield and Gerard Bonner.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of SHW. This is Our Wrestling. We are the voices of SHW. B-double Brandon Benefield. GB Gerard Bonner. My man, what is going on?
What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
I've been doing great. We took a little vacation, took a little hiatus
Yes.
with the show. I'm glad you were
Yes.
holding down the fort for us. Now everything
Yes.
seems to be
Everything
in place
is
still
in place.
right where I left it, so we're good. But real quick before we get going into the show here, and of course we
Yeah.
got a big guest lined up for you, but right off the top, I want to do a few plugs here like we
Okay.
tend to do. But
Sure.
I've had people ask me, people that don't actually watch the videos, but they
Mhm.
listen to the audio version of the podcast, and they're always asking me, who is the band that does the opening song? So I wanted to let everybody know that is a band called Misty Eyed, and they're out of
Nice.
Atlanta, Georgia, some friends of ours, and they are awesome. So if you want to follow them on Instagram or Twitter, follow them at Misty Eyed GA. That's MISTYEYEDGA on Twitter and Instagram, and then you can search for them on Facebook as well at Misty Eyed. I'm pretty sure they have their music on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. So definitely thank them for letting us use that great song to get us into the show every week.
Awesome.
And for anybody out there that was curious, well, now you know. That's Misty Eyed. So also, while we're doing the plugs, as we tend to normally do, I got to throw out there ProWrestlingTees.com. Plenty
Yes.
of SHW roster members have merchandise on there. You got Logan Creed, Danny J, Alan Angels, Lee
Mhm.
Johnson, AC Mack, Ashton Starr, the Lynch Mob. I mean, the list goes on. And of course, you know this guy.
Yeah, you were rocking William Huckabee's new shirt, Can You Whoop Me? And he has his Whoop Me Wednesdays. And I gotta say, I get nervous every time we mention Huckabee on the podcast. So
You know-
it's almost like mentioning Beetlejuice or something.
Well, here's the thing, and you're going to have to fill me in on this, but the
Yes.
Faction Show, of course, you
Mhm.
know that Gerard is a co-host of the Faction Show every week. I'm a co-host of the Mean Street podcast. Now, we
Yes.
don't have any beef with Huckabee to my knowledge, but the Faction Show tends to have some beef with Huck, and I don't know what's going on there. What'd you guys do to make
So
him
there's
mad?
really an incredible story behind this. It goes all the way back to October 2019 at the anniversary show. So Courtney and I were at the show, and it was Joe Black against Huckabee. And they broke out they each kind of had a chain that they were using. And we're in the audience, and we're just kind of berating Huck, we're just saying, like, stop this black on black violence. Like, this is just wrong. Like Rosa Parks didn't go through all of these things for this. And so he sees us, and we are literally going tit for tat. We are just going at it, man. And it's kind of crazy because I don't think he thought that either he or that myself or Courtney are the size that we are. And so naturally, when he saw Courtney stand up, and Courtney's, 6'4", he's bigger than me. So Huck got into it, and we've kind of been at it ever since. So it was kind of odd, a couple of months later to join the announce team and realize, oh my God, there's Huck. Like, this is going to be a problem. So and strange enough, he came onto our podcast right before the big street fight that happened. And that
Dog
was
collar
another
match?
Yeah, huh?
The dog collar
The dog
match?
collar. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
brain
yeah.
is everywhere. The
Well,
dog collar
it
match.
turned into a street fight out
It
in the
did turn
parking
into
lot.
a street fight. So the dog collar match, he came on to talk about that. And I have to say also, the other thing that did it was after that 1 year show, we did kind of a recap of the 1 year show. And Courtney was not very kind to Huck at all. And so I'm just like, oh my God. So there's now an ongoing thing between the faction and Huck. And
Here's what I want to know, because it seems like since around that time, anytime he
Mhm.
comes out, the fans start chanting Waffle House. Now, was that something Courtney started?
Well, I don't know if he started it, but Courtney sure did continue it. He absolutely talked about Waffle House. So
You know what? We'll have to see if we can get the Incredible Huck on with us
yeah,
sometime. I know you had him on
I'm
the faction, but we'll try to get him
yes,
on with us sometime in the near future, and we can try to
yes.
hash all this out. Maybe see if we can straighten this out between you guys.
Yeah, we can hope so. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. But I got to tell you, while you were on vacation, I went and started doing what I've been telling everybody to do, which is binge watch SHW on independentwrestling.tv. And I got to tell you, like guys, you are missing out on some great stuff if you don't do this. You know, you can really go back and get the history of how a lot of our wrestlers got to the spaces that they are, and some of the crazy matches that they were involved in, and just the amazing moments and things of that nature. So you can go to independentwrestling.tv. If you put in the promo code SHW, you do get the first 5 days free, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And for again, a lot of the fans who go to the shows, you don't hear the commentary or see some of the other things you might have missed. So it's worth going to check out just for that. You can see commentary, hear commentary, and experience all those great moments. And what I found by going to a lot of live shows is sometimes you forget some of what happens
Yeah.
because you're in the audience. So it's a good refresher for you as well. Independentwrestling.tv. Check it out.
Definitely, and like you said, the last show we had Gary Lamb on. We were talking about the big
Oh,
comeback show, which is
yes.
going to be August 28th. It's going to be the
6
second.
weeks away.
Oh, 6 weeks away. It's the second annual Rumble Jack, and of course, you do the binge watching on IWTV, and you can catch up, get up to speed, so you're
Yes.
ready for the Rumble Jack come August 28th. And so, another thing about watching IWTV and going back and watching all their past shows is you're seeing a lot of these wrestlers, male and female, that have since gone on to appear on AEW.
Absolutely.
One of those more recently on a couple of episodes of AEW Dark is our guest tonight, the one and only Savior or the Street Fighter. I'm not sure which it's going to be tonight, but I'm talking about David Ali, and we've talked about it for weeks about having him on the show. He's had this series of videos that he's been putting out over the last few months during the quarantine,
Yeah.
and it's very intriguing stuff.
Yeah.
But we finally got a hold of his people, and we lined him up, got him booked for the show, and we really have no idea where this is going to go.
No
And
clue.
we don't know which version of David Ali we're going to get.
Nope.
So your guess is as good as ours. But all we can do now is just get into it and see where we go. So here he is, David Ali.
All right, guys, we've got a great interview for you. We told you he would be here, and I'm not quite sure what we're going to get. We could get the Street Fighter. We could get the Savior. Either way, he's here. Welcome, David Ali. David, how are you, sir?
I'm great. What an intro. What an intro. You didn't
Well,
bury me this time like you usually do whenever my name comes out of your mouth. So that's awesome.
Wow.
well, I was not trying to bury you at all. I mean, after watching the Exodus, I'm not really sure where you are. So I wanted to kind of be open to where we would be because we're watching a bit of a metamorphosis happening as we've seen over these 6 videos of the Exodus. Talk to us about what's going on with that.
So the Exodus project is an idea that started out very differently, but ended up going in a different direction. That myself and a few other people in the wrestling business came up with. It's definitely a journey into what happens to a wrestler when when wrestling's taken away from him. You know,
Yes.
um, especially like when you devote. A lot of people don't understand because, especially like fans from where they're at viewing wrestling and how the stories are told, but to get the reaction that we need from the audience. There's a lot of ourselves that go into portraying a character, especially the ones that are really good. Put a lot of yourself into it. So once you do that for so long and you beat the pavement weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend, what do you do now that you have nothing to do because of a world epidemic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the last promos that I cut before everything went to hell, I was jokingly saying that if you don't appreciate wrestling and the future of wrestling, then it'll be taken away from you. And then coronavirus happened. So I was like, I can use that. So
Yeah.
then,
I've been
and then that's how
blaming
the
you.
Exodus project.
I've been blaming you for wrestling and coronavirus because I thought because you said that, then all this happened. So
Listen, don't blame me. Blame the savior. Okay, he's the one that he controls all this. All right, he's the one that I just put my faith in his hands. Okay, he saves me. All right, he's
Oh
the one that gets me
man.
on. He's the one that helps me out. He gets me all these like awesome bookings, these matches. You know what I mean? Can't be mad at him.
So I guess this brings us to the conundrum, right? Because we've watched this metamorphosis, and there was one point where it was like you could be leaving the business. There's another point where you were vehemently trying to save Georgia from these wrestling legends and things. So where are you with all this? Because kind of after episode 6 of the Exodus, it's hard to tell where you are. There's definitely a battle happening. Where are you at this point?
So right now, due to I don't even know what you'd call it, the re-outbreak of coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
I had to put the Exodus project on hold for a little bit.
Okay.
So there's definitely going to be some continuing chapters that explains exactly what happens, and I desperately, desperately, desperately want to get enough of the point across before Southern Honor comes back and before Southern Fried comes back. So that way, like people get a full, well-rounded view of the savior that they're looking at now. Because let's just say that it may not necessarily be the same thing when it's all over with. You know, there might be the best villains, the best characters have those extra layers of what drives them. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
I think for a lot of Southern Honor fans, it's been a lot of fun to watch because if you watch every single episode, you see a lot of familiar faces. I mean, we've got Garrett, who's the SHW sound guy. You've got Lindsay, who's the SHW merch slinger out front at all the shows. You've got Danny J. You've got Brooklyn and Logan. You've got who else am I missing? You got AC Mac.
Yeah.
Remarkable Ryan Rembrandt, who, by the way, he's one of my favorites. He sits in the background of episode 6, and
Yeah.
he keeps saying that's remarkable, and he's making great faces, and it's just cracking me up. But I mean, it's just kind of cool to see all these familiar faces on these episodes.
What's cool for me about it is that I'm able to depict a lot of my so one thing I really, really hate is killing any kind of kayfabe. It bothers me so bad. But the Exodus Project has allowed me to, I guess, express or show to the outside world, like, I guess, who means a lot to me outside of wrestling or because of wrestling. Um, those figures, you know, being Danny, somebody who comes to like make sure that I'm okay. Garrett, who gives me like amazing ideas. Logan, who inspires me to just like keep pounding the pavement. Mac, who was there with me from the beginning, and same with Ryan Rembrandt. And each episode that these people are featured in, it's a key a key ingredient of our relationship outside of wrestling is kind of played with or displayed in each episode. Actually, the last one with Mac and Ryan, uh, which I love Ryan in that one also. He's got the best, the best facials. But a lot of the a lot of the topics are rooted from some truths in life, especially with the AC Mac. That one, there's a lot of shooting that happens in that one. Man, I had to cut some of it out because I was like, oh my God, it hurts. Ugh, it hurts so bad. Uh, but they're definitely interesting to say the least. We definitely got to rehash some stuff from our past. A lot of people don't know that Mac, Ryan Rembrandt, Austin Theory, Dementia D Rose, he goes by Double D Rose now. We were all in this faction at our training school, WWA 4, called the Force. And that's why like Max got that T-shirt on and Ryan's got that T-shirt on, is because they're old versions of themselves, because they're all stuck in wrestling purgatory right there. So it's neat. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's all right.
I think a lot of the fans like it. Like it's got a lot of buzz going around it over the last couple months that these episodes have been coming out. And I just want to put this out there. You know, do with it what you will. You know, take the idea if you like. But if you ever have another episode, whether it's like a purgatory episode or if it's something that's like we're stuck inside your head or something, and you need like a commentary team in there to like call the action of whatever's happening, you just reach out to me and Gerard, and we'll be there in a heartbeat, and we'll make it happen, man. The best dressed commentary team in the independent wrestling. And I'm just saying, I think it could work.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You know, you're absolutely right, Brando. Just because if I need somebody to bury me on the mic over and over and over again, I got good old Gerard over there. Golly.
Now,
I will never forget. I was showing my mom this match with Kyle Matthews, because Matthews is like one of my favorite opponents so far of all time. And we had a lot of fun. And I'll show my mom this match, and I lose. And then the only thing coming out of your mouth is, David's not the savior. I guess he's not the savior. He sucks. He's not right. A savior would have won. I guess he's out of here. I'm like, what do I do with that? How do I come back from that? What? I cried.
You're making me cry. You're making me cry. That's good.
oh gosh.
I will never. I think I'll never. You know, I was like, damn, he buries the hell out of me.
It's hilarious. The funny part to me is you have come back and you keep coming back, which is what makes it fun. And one of the things that I think publicly said, if I haven't, I will now, is I feel like the Exodus, and really your promos as well, the video promos you've done on social media, are some amazing storytelling. I mean, you put a lot of thought into the production of it, a lot of thought into what you want said, and it's really one of the things that makes it so easy to follow what you're doing, because there's such great quality and caliber to it. What do you think is behind your desire in terms of production and things of that nature? Because it really does spill over into what you've done with the Exodus. And if people have missed it, they should go back on your social media and check out some of these independent promos you've done, whether they were with SHW or others. It's amazing to watch. What do you think has led you to that?
First, I really appreciate that. That kind of feedback is the kind of feedback that makes me want to do more. But I guess I don't know. I really, really, really love continuity. It's my favorite part of any kind of story.
Yeah.
I love the Marvel movies for that simple fact that like you can watch any movie and like, especially the ones where there's like a lot of the different co-stars from different movies.
Yeah.
And you can pick anything out and take it to another movie and it makes sense. I love continuity. In wrestling terms, people like Triple H, whose character has like had the same continuity, whether it was Hokey, Hunter Hearst Helmsley going into Triple H with DX going into Evolution, all that stuff just that's my favorite part about storytelling. So with wrestling, what really drives me with that is the fact that I'm able to tell a story in the way that I want to. And I've been lucky so far that the bigger shows in Georgia, like Southern Honor and Southern Fried, have been allowing me to not only experiment, but to just dive into the realm of what else can I do with this. I definitely have some changes going forward with some stuff, just because there's been a lot of I don't know. I don't know what other word to use, but I don't want to say plagiarism, but there's a lot of a lot of copycat promos out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I gotta hold my own in that. I don't see it as like dang, this guy, he's on the top tier, he's stealing my stuff. What am I gonna do now? I need to change. I see it as a challenge for what can I do to make myself stand out, more so than that person and any other person. And and wrestling's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to have like different dimensions, different characters, different aspects of why this person could win, why this person could lose, and what makes this person a cerebral contender and what makes this person a physical contender. It's and that's the kind of stuff that I like to play with in
Yeah.
those kind of promos.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered your question at all.
No, it does, because it's interesting. You're right. I mean, all of a sudden we've got messiahs popping up, and all this stuff that didn't exist before there was a certain savior here in Georgia.
I was gonna say, I'm
I'm
pretty
just saying.
sure you don't have to say names. I'll say that Seth Rollins, I'm sure, watches Southern Honor Wrestling on IWTV, which you can get for $10 a month, independentwrestling.tv. And I'm sure
Yeah.
Seth Rollins pays that fee and he watches all the Southern Honor Wrestling shows. And he thought, hey, the Savior, I can do something with that. Next thing you know, Monday Night Messiah. I'm like, really? Come on.
Yeah.
We already have one of those, and his
Right.
name is David Ali.
Yeah.
From night to night,
What's
he comes to
ironic is,
fight.
oh my God, you're the only person beside myself that remember that. I tried to get that. I tried to get everybody to like understand that about me for like the longest, and even though the only people that would understand it are the wrestlers, they would make fun of me backstage about it.
And I know that's true, because in the last episode of the Exodus Project, Mac makes fun of you and says that line. But I remembered it because you did a pre-show with us at one of the SHW shows way back, and when you used to kind of come and interrupt the pre-show that we were doing, and I think you chopped Alfred maybe on that same show.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, you threw that line on us from night to night. I come to fight, and it always stuck with me. That was a good line.
I thought it was catchy too, but nobody nobody cares about that line at all. I'm like, oh, all
What are you
right,
gonna do?
fine.
Well, real quick, I want to go back to not and this is rare, but the SHW fans are getting a glimpse of us really complimenting you, and this is rare because we don't usually. So just take it as you will here. Gerard was complimenting you earlier, and in all seriousness, though, on MSP and even on this podcast right here, we talk about how you are one of the best on the mic, and the fact that you're doing these videos during this downtime is awesome. And I've said this before, like, more independent wrestlers need to be doing this. I don't know why they're not, because why would you not take advantage of this downtime to try and evolve your character and try to push a storyline forward so that when we do come back, boom, you're right in there with this new gimmick or whatever you want, a new character, whatever it might be. But more people need to be doing it. And I think you're doing a killer job at it right now, and you have been.
Thank you.
So yeah, so kudos to you, and don't expect any more compliments for the rest of the podcast.
I'm surprised you actually asked me to come onto the show and not Danny J again. I thought it was gonna be another Danny episode. I thought when you hit me up, I thought you were gonna ask me to bring her some water because she had another episode coming up.
Well, David and
no idea.
Danny are right next to each other on my phone, and I just hit the wrong name. So, but then I felt bad, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll ask him.
You hit the wrong name a lot, but
Well, you mentioned Danny, so I will mention Danny in this regard. You and Danny are among the few who have had the opportunity to appear on AEW. You have appeared the last few weeks on AEW Dark. Talk about what that experience was like, because certainly while a lot of people have been in this quarantine space not getting to wrestle at all, you, Danny J, Sean Dean, and a few others have had the opportunity to be on a massive stage like AEW. What has that been like for you?
man, that's the most nerve-wracking experience of my life.
I can imagine.
So nerve-wracking. But the honor to just I'm about to get sentimental real quick, okay? So Danny and I don't know if anybody can tell from social media, but she's like my best friend, right? Or one of my best friends rather. And I used to tell her a lot that like before I started training wrestling, I used to go to sleep and I used to be like, you know what? When I open my eyes, I'm gonna open my eyes one day. I'm gonna be in the middle of the ring finally after having a match, solid 5-star match. And every time I go to sleep, I always have that thought in my head, like, you know, I'm gonna open my eyes one day and I'm gonna be in the middle of a ring, either on TV, some kind of way, somehow, some kind of way. And that I woke up one day, I opened my eyes, and I just got through having a match with Lance Archer. Opened my eyes, and I just got through having a match with Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. And those things are experiences that are just once in a lifetime, you know. There's just no, I can't put into words how grateful I am for the opportunity to even be there. Like I'm somebody who grew up watching the Attitude Era, and so it was always TNT versus USA, TNT versus USA. And for me to have grown up watching wrestling, trained to become a wrestler, and for everything to be in a dream kind of state, it's nice to know that sometimes you can actually achieve a part of your dream, and the only thing it does is just makes you want more, and just keeps you hungry, and it makes you want to work out every day. It makes you want to eat the right foods to look great. It makes you want to be somebody who, when you walk in a room, people are like, oh, let's put him out there, or oh, I've seen him before. And just getting the opportunity to soak up so much knowledge, because technically I existed in the AEW universe anyway, just because I was always in the background somewhere, either
Yeah.
getting beat up or bullying somebody or something. And I got to learn a lot as far as directing things are concerned, and I got to use that for Exodus as well. And I got to learn even more by getting there and getting to milk the brains of like people that I've known for a long time, like Jake the Snake, and just like people I've grown up watching, like Dean Malenko, and then there's like Jerry Lynn, and just like Dustin Rhodes, and I got to train with him a little bit, and some of the girls there, and it was just I just, there was not a day I didn't learn anything, and there was not a day that I don't think I improved myself as a person and as a wrestler. So I just look forward to going back,
Yeah.
because that's, I have to go back at this point, because there's no, I reached the top. I have to keep going back. I have to keep
Mhm.
going back, and then reach the top of that top, and
Yeah.
so forth and so on. It's not going to stop.
Yeah. I got to tell you, one of my favorite moments of watching you on AEW Dark was when you first came out and you took that minute to take a look at the screen that had your name on it. And I could tell you were really just kind of intaking and ingesting that moment. And for
Gave me
me,
chills.
yeah, it really
Chills.
did, because it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I mean, however people view us in this business, the one thing is for sure, everybody can relate to somebody having a dream and pursuing that dream and getting to a space where you can start to actually really see it. You see it in your mind's eye. Now, like you said, you wake up one morning and you're in the ring having a match with Lance Archer. And so I just said that for me, that was a moment that really translated to a lot of people in a lot of genres to be able to say whatever your dream is, like you can live it. So kudos to you. And it's really awesome to be able to see that moment. And, I wasn't there, but I kind of took that, oh, cool, that's a moment for me and that's a moment for us, and that type of thing, because you got to live that, man. So congratulations. That's like a really, really awesome thing.
um, Thanks again. Hopefully, I get another opportunity to show what I got.
Yeah.
Man, that was when I came out. First of all, I was like, "There's no way I'm not looking at my Tron when I come out. I have to see it for myself." Like,
Right.
because to see it on TV is one thing. To see
Hmm.
it like when your friends record it is another thing. But
Yeah.
no, I have to see this right now with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
And the one of the cool things about it, um, one of the positives was that like I didn't have a pre-existing character, so I didn't have to like throw it out there like I usually do, and like
Right.
be as intimidating, because I wasn't that the version of the savior that everybody's accustomed to as far as like the independents are concerned.
Yeah.
But they didn't hold me back as far as like what I was able to show as far as like my character is concerned. Um, so you kind of got like half and half with
Yeah.
that entrance. I will say that those kind of glimpses that you saw on AEW, of that David Ali, maybe some hinting at like maybe some hinting at what you may come to see with some versions of the Savior going forward. But funny story though, the second night when I got to do the tag match, before I think it was about maybe like an hour or so before the show, we're listed somewhere else like on the card after, because the way they film one show and they film another show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're behind like the second show, and I'm like, okay, cool, I got time. I just need to go get my gear. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're about to go on in like 20 minutes. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So I don't have any of my gear, but I'm like, okay, I brought it. It's in the car. I'm gonna go get it. So I go back to the locker room. I get the keys. I'm running around the whole like stadium and stuff, just trying to get my gear. I get to the car finally, and I put my gear in the other car we didn't come in. So I didn't have my entrance stuff. That's the reason why. Yeah. So I run back and I'm like, I don't have my entrance gear at all. I don't know what to do. So that's the reason why I came out with no jacket the second time.
Got you.
I know everybody was really worried about why you didn't come out with a jacket, but you know.
I was honestly curious that you were in different, and I didn't know if that was like you're doing or if they asked you to like switch it up. I wasn't sure, but now I know the reason, because it was in a different car. Now I know. But I was gonna say, and Gerard mentioned it already, but the whole thing about when you came out and you looked up at the Tron, man, as just being buddies with you and being a fan, because you know, even though we're commentary guys and we call the matches everything, like we're fans first, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like we were coming to the shows as fans, you know, Gerard for sure coming as a fan before he joined the commentary team. So we're fans of all you guys, and we're friends with all you guys kind of behind the scenes too. So it's just super cool, and we're like super proud when we see somebody like when Danny was on last November and she on Dynamite and was up against Nyla Rose. That was a huge surprise because she didn't tell anybody. So I just happened to be watching that night and I was like, oh my God, you know? And the same thing with you. I didn't know you were going to be on there a couple weeks ago. And so to see you come out and like soaking up, looking up at the Tron, I was like taking that in with you, man. And that literally gave me chills looking at you, looking at the Tron of your name on the big screen like that. Like, man, it was so cool. So yeah, we were super stoked for you. And one other thing I wanted to bring up real quick, you mentioned that you were kind of already in the AEW universe, showing up kind of in the background of some different vignettes. I don't know for sure, but I want to say I think you and I might be in the same vignette, because there was one point where you were picking on the Party Planner, who in AEW universe is not called the Party Planner. I don't even know if they gave him a name. Did they give Louis a name on AEW? I don't think they did. But he was like,
they just called him Guy We Beat Up.
The guy, yeah. So he was the guy, and like you, like did you like break his glasses? You and Ashton Starr.
Yeah.
And so, but then he ends up at the Dark Order meeting, and well, I guess I just admitted it, but I was going to say I can neither confirm nor deny that it was me sitting in the crowd. I was just going to say it was a guy that looked like me that was just going.
Oh, it was you.
Just nodding along.
You're entranced.
Yeah, so I was,
entranced.
But I never got a mask, so I don't guess they officially selected me to be in the Dark Order because I haven't been back, so, oh well. But anyways.
I imagine it's kind of like the Army.
What's that?
I imagine it's kind of like joining the Dark Order. I imagine it's kind of like the Army where, like, you know, if you have to wear glasses or you're a nerd or something, they can't let you join. Like, you're just
Yep, you got me. You know? I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense, because I haven't gotten a phone call back or an email or anything, or like they haven't messaged me back on Facebook, so I don't know what's going on. But anyways, I just thought it was cool.
See me on TV.
No,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say I thought it was cool because I didn't even dawn on me until we started talking about it. I was like, oh, wait, I think we were in that same vignette together. But anyways, it's neither here nor there.
We were. We were in different parts,
yeah,
which is good because I don't want to be too close to you. But, you know, Gerard's actually seen me on TV before, actually, on Ring of Honor.
Yes, I did. That's right. That's right. So I was at a Ring of Honor show, and
I don't know why I brought this up.
Oh, this is actually hilarious.
I want to hear it. I don't know this.
So I'm at this Ring of Honor show, and, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm watching, and this is, I think, top of the year.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
And so I'm at this Ring of Honor show, and I'm looking, and out comes Dalton Castle. You know, Dalton Castle does this whole thing. He's got the boys. And I'm looking, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know that boy. That's not any boy. That's David Ali. So I hit him on Messenger and I was like, David, were you here at the Ring of Honor show? And he was like, how do people know? I'm like, dude, I know who
I
you
was
are.
like, who knew already? It just happened. I get back to the locker room. I'm like, hopefully, like, I'm covered in everything. But the one thing I didn't realize is that I have like notable tattoos on some parts, and I was like, well, hopefully nobody will notice. And then you hit me up, and like 4 other Southern Honor people hit me up. I'm like,
Yeah,
what? Stay
because Southern
home.
Honor
What are you
folks
doing?
were there. It was hilarious.
Well, look, in case anybody forgot, so you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SHW Pod. So we will definitely post a picture of you you're wearing like the mask and like the glitter and everything, right? So we'll definitely post that picture up this week leading up to promote this episode.
Oh.
You know, I hit Garrett. I'll hit you too, Brandon. Just to let
Whoa,
you
whoa,
know.
whoa, whoa, whoa. By the way, so I just went back and watched SHW 18 just because going back, kind of catching up before the Rumble Jack coming up August 28th. And I had forgotten some things because that was like 3 months ago, however long ago. And I totally forgot about you decking Garrett in that match against Kyle Matthews.
Yeah.
You clocked him. What
You
was up
should have
with that,
gotten
man?
away.
Oh,
You should have gone away. First of all right. The way I see it is, it's really Kyle Matthews' fault. People are acting like it's my fault, but it's really Kyle Matthews' fault. If he had just, first of all, if he had just stayed at home to begin with, none of those matches would have happened, okay? If he would have just stayed at home. But no, people like Kyle Matthews, people like Ike Cross, people don't know when to stay home, okay? When it's over, when you're not going to go any higher, Just stay at home. But no, Kyle Matthews, I need to come back. I need to prove that I still got it. I need to prove that I can still fit in the trunks and wear knee pads and blah, 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 and do drop kicks. It's not about you, Kyle. It's about the future.
we're
It's
shooting,
about
folks.
the future.
We're
Okay?
shooting.
Stay home. Allow us to have our time. We fought and bled for it. So you know what? Kyle moves out the way and Garrett gets hit. If Kyle was a man, he would have just got hit in the face like he's supposed to, and Garrett would have been okay. But no,
Man.
Well, I'll say this, as you mentioned, getting these opportunities and things, that's the perfect lead into the return of SHW. Southern Honor is coming back August the 28th, and we do know that it's going to be headlined by the Rumble Jack, which we heard from Gary Lamb. You're going to be a part of the Rumble Jack. And, of course, the winner of the Rumble Jack gets to call their shot and gets an opportunity at the SHW Championship. This may sound like a silly question, but what are your thoughts on you winning the Rumble Jack?
what people have probably noticed or guessed by this point of watching Southern Honor is that there's one consistent fact when it comes to the new era. And that one consistent fact is me. I'm the one that introduced the group. I'm the one that introduced the idea, the concept of the future being now instead of proposed future. It was my idea. I am the perfect person to lead the future of Southern Honor just because it has been my mission statement from the beginning. It'll always be my mission statement. And the reason why I'm more dangerous than anybody else going into that Rumble Jack is because nobody else knows what they're fighting for. They're there for an opportunity. They're there for maybe a shot, maybe this, maybe that. I know what I'm fighting for. I know what I'm willing to sacrifice myself to obtain what I need to. And what I need to obtain to secure the future for not only myself, but for everybody else who deserves a shot is for me to be Southern Honor champion.
There it is.
There you go, folks. I don't know what
Yeah.
more we could say to top that. That's
Yeah.
pretty intense, man. And we want to thank David Ali for joining us. We had no idea what to expect here tonight, but thankfully he didn't berate us too much, even though we exchanged some barbs back and forth. But I feel like we're all friends here. We're all good, right? Everybody good?
I don't want to make you pee too much in your pants, so I tone it down just a little bit.
You know me all too well, David Ali. But anyways, anything before we let you go? Anything else you want to say to the fans? Social media, where they can follow you, when to expect maybe some more of your Exodus videos, anything like that?
Listen, everybody can follow me on Instagram at Real David Ali. Okay. Twitter is also something I feel like an old, but it's also something that I've been striving to get more involved with. So on Twitter, I'm Your Savior Ali. Facebook, David Ali. Um, the Rumble Jack, you guys already plugged it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
Rumble Jack's coming up.
Yeah.
Right before that, I don't know if you call it a sister promotion, but Southern Fried is on the 1st.
Whoa,
I don't
whoa,
know if
whoa,
you
whoa.
guys want to talk about
Hey,
that.
hey, look, hey, Gary, we already have an SHW podcast, so I don't know if Gary already has beef with you, so you can say what you want and I'll air it, but that's between you and the GM of SHW.
Hey,
So
Gary can have beef, meat, and potatoes with me all he wants to, but I see him at Southern Fried shows. I see him there lurking in the background, scoping for talent, just like every other promoter does. So listen, I'm just gonna put it out there, right? Just gonna put it out there. More David Ali is what the world needs.
fair enough.
Save yourself. It's easy.
Yeah,
Save
it
yourself.
makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. Thank you, David Ali, for hanging out with us on the
Thank you
SHW
guys.
podcast.
Buddy.
See you guys. Be
Oh,
safe.
well, there you have it. David Ali, the Street Fighter, the Savior. We're still not really sure, but hey, I got to be honest. Like we said, he kept it pretty civil for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. I thought it was great. And,
Yeah.
again, the moment just reliving his AEW debut. And it's funny because we hadn't talked about it, but it was such a powerful moment
Yeah.
for both of us, and I'm sure many others as well. So it was fantastic to be able to see that and to be a part of that and to have that discussion. I thought that was fantastic. Shout out to David Ali.
Man, that was cool. And we want to thank him, of course, for joining us after all these weeks of us saying we're going to try to get him on the show. We finally got him, and it was cool to have him on. And you talked about just us kind of being proud of seeing an SHW talent like David Ali showing up on the big stage of AEW. And, of course, I mentioned it talking to David, we've been proud to see like Danny Jordan and the others like Sean Dean, Alan Angels, Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
And speaking of Lee Johnson, I don't know if you happened to catch this past week's episode of Chris Jericho's Saturday Night Special. It's a Facebook Live he started doing when the quarantine started.
Yes.
And so he comes on, does, I don't know, a couple hours Facebook Live every Saturday. And he just takes like a Q&A. He just answers questions. Sometimes he has guests on. And I didn't see this, but I saw somewhere on Facebook where I guess he confirmed or he mentioned that Lee Johnson has been signed to AEW.
That's awesome. Wow.
Which is super cool because we were just talking about Lee Johnson on the last show with Gary Lamb because he's going to be in a match against AC Mack at the Rumble Jack coming up August 28th. And so it's cool that he's officially back with SHW. Now we find out he's officially signed to AEW, which is just huge.
Yeah,
because we've seen him do so much with AEW throughout the quarantine.
Absolutely.
And it's just been awesome to see him come such a long way in such a short time. So we got to reach out to him. We'll try to get him on the podcast sometime soon, maybe before the Rumble Jack gets here, which would you say we still got like 6 weeks, right?
We've got 6 weeks, 6 weeks to the day of the Rumble Jack. And so that should be fantastic. So we definitely look forward to talking to Lee Johnson. And I'm just going to throw this out there, because we don't have time to talk about it, but there's this rumbling in the SHW fan club about Hold My Beer Hansen. What is what is happening with this?
I should have asked David Ali about this guy because I know that David Ali wrestles for a promotion down in Valdosta from time to time.
Okay. Yeah.
And I believe that's where Hold My Beer Hansen is from.
Okay.
Or at least he wrestles down there quite a bit from my understanding. And I believe him and Ali have had some confrontations, maybe some matches in the past. And I should have asked David, maybe we'll have to get David on another time because we could probably talk to David for a full other podcast. So we'll have to try
there's other stuff we didn't get to talk about.
Yes.
But Hold My Beer Hansen. I've been seeing that name pop up quite a bit.
So our buddy Daryl, everybody knows Daryl, DC, from
Yeah.
SHW. If you're an SHW fan, you've been to any of our shows, you always see Daryl there.
Yeah.
He's kind of started this movement, if you will, this like underground support, this fan club for Hold My Beer Hansen,
Mhm.
and to try to get him in the Rumblejack.
Yeah.
So like every day for the last couple of weeks, he's been posting these. It's almost like the Chuck Norris facts. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so there's been these Hold My Beer Hansen facts. And it's been making waves to the point where even Gary Lamb himself earlier this week
Mhm.
posted about the guy,
Yeah.
asking the fans, who is this guy?
Mhm.
Should I let him in the Rumblejack? What's the
Yeah.
deal?
Yeah.
So we're not sure, but
Not sure.
what do you guys think? If you're listening to us, if you're watching us, leave us in the comments. What do you think?
Mhm.
And we don't have any say so whatsoever. Let me just put that
Oh,
out
no.
there.
I've just been seeing it a lot. And
Right.
so,
We're just
yeah.
curious. So
Yeah.
we're curious what the fans think. Should this guy be an entrant in the Rumblejack, the second annual Rumblejack coming up August 28th? So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what plays out there. But hey, you know what? Until then, in the meantime, this has been SHW.
This is our wrestling.
We'll see you guys next week.